Hello and welcome to another Star Wars The Old Republic video. Today we're going to be doing a short format guide on Vanguard, Tactics or Powertech AP. So let's drop in and let's do this. This is going to be short format. It's designed for players who already know how to play the game, and it's not going to be one of my longer format guides. Again, thank you to everybody who shares my content, help grow this channel, likes, all that kind of stuff. It really does make a difference as we work on getting the ability to put out even more content for you guys, and hopefully in the future start having things where we can, as a community, do stuff together. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it all. So what do we want for gearing? Your main gearing set bonus is going to be Meteor Brawler. Just a great set for doing extra damage in general. It's going to help you with your energy management at the 4-piece, and it's going to give you a 10% damage buff for 15 seconds every 30 seconds, which is great. And then the 6-piece is also going to give you some additional damage, and it's going to give you a lot more energy management. For our tactical, we're going to be going with Power Load, increase your cell burst damage. For the stats themselves, we're looking to get close to 10k power. 90 to 100 should be the minimum you're looking for level 75 content. Critical, we're going to be getting close to 3000. Alacrity, 1400 is good. Accuracy, 1590 at the minimum. You can be higher, but you want to be as close as you can to 1590. We're going to be using the R unlettered, so no A's or B's in our mods. We're going to be using the Adept for critical, the Savant for alacrity. Initiative is what I've chosen to use. Getting your accuracy cap is a little bit trickier to get the exact right amount. Main thing is, get there without wasting too many points. Now, you can have a shield in your offhand, especially when you're doing level 70 content. It makes no difference. Why not? It's kind of like free perks. Let's talk about utilities. What utilities do we want to take? So in the skillful tree, Iron Will is very optional if you want to take it or not. Combat Stims, this is another good one that you might want to take instead. Reflective Armor, absolutely take this one. End of story. So at this point, we really don't have many choices left on the bottom part of the skillful tree. It's really quality of life. Take whichever one you like the best. I did take Explosive Surge, even though it's not a great ability. Now, Masterful. Well, Electro Shield, I really like taking this one. You deal a little bit more damage back out as you take damage. Or Battlefield Training is also a great option for the increased movement speed, as you are a pretty slow class to begin with. Frontline Defenses is kind of a must. It's the reduce area of effect damage by 30%. There are certain fights where you don't need this, but in general, just leave it on. Sonic Rebounders, a great unique ability to the Vanguard class. This is a great one to have. There's really not too much else I think is great other than Efficient Tools is something I would take sometime. In the Heroic Tree, Re-Energizes, I don't have it right now, but this is a great option. Helps with energy management. That's a great choice. I chose to take the 2 Hold the Line abilities to increase my hold the line movement speed and duration even further. Guard Cannons, they do heal you when you're using shoulder cannons, which is a nice little thing. Most of the time you won't need this in PvE content. Power Focus, I love taking this one. Helps with power yield. Battering Blitz really seems like a PvP utility. Pull and Pummel, again, very little time you're going to be able to use this in PvE, but when you're running solo content, this might be something you choose to pick. Aim Extension, this one is very rare you'll ever need this one. Other than PvP. Most of the time you don't worry about having these abilities be ranged. Alright, let's talk about the rotation. So as you can see, I've got a graphic up showing you both the Imperial names and the Republic names for everything. It's basically a priority system with a few exceptions. So Gut should always be applied. That's your dot. You want to make sure that it's on things. It gets refreshed by High Impact Bolt, so it's very rare you need to actually use Gut. But if you have swap targets or you have a lot of downtime where Gut will fall off, you're going to have to reapply it. Then Assault Plastique followed by Stock Strike, and then Cell Burst only when it's glowing, and then High Impact Bolt followed by Tactical Surge. Hammer Shot is really just there for energy management. Off GCD abilities, you're going to be using Shoulder Cannons and your Battle Focus, and of course energy management. So how do we put our rotation into practice? So right now we're going to ignore our Battle Focus and our Shoulder Cannons and our other stuff, and we're just going to give you the basics. So what's super important about this class is you need to know that High Impact Bolt, when you proc it either using Explosive Surge, Stock Strike, or Tactical Surge, you're going to be able to get a free High Impact Bolt, and it helps with energy regen. And even if it was on cooldown, it's going to come off cooldown. You can do this every 4 GCDs. That's important to remember. So when we're going through here, and glows, and then immediately that is it triggering. So it's every 4 GCDs. So I did 3 abilities, 4th one procs it. So what I do is I go 1, 2, 3, and then 4th ability will proc it, and then we go 1, 2, 3, and then 4th ability has to be something that can proc it. So the general idea is we follow our priority system with a couple exceptions. Is the 4th GCD always has to be something that procs High Impact Bolt, so either Explosive Surge, Stock Strike, or Tactical Surge. And then the other thing you have to remember is you want to make sure you use High Impact Bolt in those 3 GCDs between it getting proc. The other thing that you want to look into is how to use Hammer Shot as energy management. So in general, most of the time you won't need to use Hammer Shot. If you notice that you're getting close to having Stock Strike, Salt Plastique, Cell Burst come off cooldown and be available to use, that can be a lot of energy that you're burning, so you don't want to use Tactical Surge as a filler when you know those are about to come up. So it's not too often in the rotation that you really have to worry about that. 1, 2, 3. And notice I went to a Hammer Shot there because I was starting to get a little bit low on energy, and I knew that my Assault Plastique was coming close to coming off cooldown. Generally, when you're floating around that 70% energy mark is when you really want to be thinking, should I be using a Hammer Shot? The other place where High Impact Bolt sometimes will become a higher priority, if you're running into energy management issues and you know you're threading that fine point where your energy regeneration rate is about to decrease, you can use a High Impact Bolt as a higher priority because it's free and starts at energy regen. Really remember, you want to keep that energy management under control when you don't have tools available to make them free or regen all of your energy. After a while, it just becomes second nature to kind of know when you've done 3 abilities after proccing High Impact Bolts. How we want to use the off GCD stuff, let's get into that now. Shoulder cannons, I suggest always syncing them up with battle focus, especially as you're learning the class. Just put the 2 together. When it comes to the actual opener, what are we going to do for our opener? We are going to delay gut a little bit and put it second. So we're going to use our health regen to build up stacks of energy load. So that little buff there, I got 4 stacks. They don't go away. It's awesome. None of this sentinel stuff where you have to keep rebuilding your centering. It's great. We've built those up. We've charged our shoulder cannons. We are ready for a pull. So you do an assault plastique, and then you're going to activate battle focus and do a gut to apply your dot. We're going to skip stock strike and we're going to go straight into cell burst while spamming shoulder cannons. And we're going to hit power yield after that, along with reserve power cell for energy reasons. That will proc a next cell burst to be able to use immediately while glowing. So that's 2 in a row. Followed by High Impact Bolt, followed by Stock Strike so that we can proc High Impact Bolt to be cast right away. And then we'll have 3 Tactical Surges as fillers to proc High Impact Bolt again. And you're pretty much into the standard rotation at that point. Just keep in mind that when Battle Focus does expire, all your abilities for 20 seconds have reduced energy cost. And of course we have recharged cells available. So you're going to be going really ham. So let's see if I can pull this off. It's a little hard to do it live, but we'll do our best. So I'm just going to leap in followed by an Assault Plastique. So we leapt in, we're doing Assault Plastique, activate that, and then we're going to do gut, and then we're going to do this, and then make that next one free. There we go, and then we're going to go here, and then we're going to proc it again. Now it's proc, perfect, and then I'm just going to spam 1, 2, and then 3 to make it glow. And I'm actually going to do Assault Plastique next because it's higher priority in the list. And then High Impact Bolt was the 3rd one on that GCD so that I could reset it right away. So as I said, we're just going ham now. Just don't even worry about your energy management at this point. You're really just trying to make sure that you get the most damage output until you need to recharge cells. I did forget to spam shoulder cannons on that example there, so my energy was a lot higher than it's supposed to be. Don't forget to spam your shoulder cannons. So now let's talk about the AoE abilities that are available to you. In my opinion, I like Artillery Blitz the best. I love the fact that you can move around while doing this ability. It also does great damage. It does cost quite a bit of energy, so it's another candidate for reserve power cells. Now I put Ion Wave higher up than Flak Shell. The reason for this is Ion Wave, it's a smaller conal cleave in front of you, but it does elemental damage. In terms of if you're hitting all of the enemies with Ion Wave, it's going to do more damage than Flak Shell, which is kinetic damage. And then we have Explosive Surge. It's a really, really bad AoE ability. I don't suggest using it outside of very few specific scenarios. Or there's the one thing where to proc High Impact Bolt. So it is nice in terms of when you are doing some AoE and you need to proc your High Impact Bolt. So let's talk about our defensive abilities. What do we have? Well, we have Adrenaline Rush. It's a 35% heal. It's not super amazing, but it's there. It helps you. We do have Power Yield, but Power Yield is something that you're generally going to be using as an offensive cooldown as it makes you do more damage, and it also gives you a full cell burst to use immediately. If you know you want to save Power Yield, definitely save it as a defensive, but it is only increasing your armor rating, so it only mitigates very certain types of damage, and a lot of bosses do damage that is not mitigated by armor. And then we have our main defense for the class, Reactive Shield, 25% damage reduction, 15 seconds. What about utility? Vanguards do have a lot of unique utility compared to other classes. First thing I want to say though is you do not get a self-cleanse. That's really important to know, you don't have a self-cleanse. Alright, so Harpoon. Harpoon's a fun ability for playing by yourself, so on. You pull things towards you, it also generates a high amount of threat. Can't be used well in melee range, so most of the time it's not that good on operation bosses. You have Hold the Line, which prevents you from being knocked around, pushed, whatever. super useful. Lots of fights where this is kind of going to come in handy, being able to not get shoved around. Rev and Core, great ability to have. Plus it makes you run faster, so there's lots of utility to it. Neural Surge, I want to bring this up because pretty much no other class has an AoE stun, and anything else that's an AoE stun generally breaks on damage. Like you can stun everything for 2.5 to 3 seconds depending on if you take the utility. Your threat drop, Sonic Round, as we talked about, rebounders. So you can spec into the utility that allows you to put a shield on every player near you except for yourself, and it will reflect a single attack. So there's lots of fights where this is really useful to be able to reflect some damage back to the boss and prevent people from taking that damage. That's the great thing about the reflect, is it prevents all that damage to everybody who gets your rebounder, everyone but yourself. And then Stealth Scan. I want to bring up Stealth Scan, even though it's not super important to have a Stealth Scan. There are some areas where this is very useful because of the ability that allows the speed boost to your whole group. So when you're going through Duxon on the holding pens, great example, help the group run faster. You throw a stealth scan and everyone, as they run through it, they get a speed boost. You do also have a taunt. Didn't put that on the graphic there. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. That is the guide for doing tactics or AP. I hope everybody has a great day, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot. Like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Always appreciated.